This is Zoltan from Five Finger Death Punch. We just got a record deal yesterday, so we are a brand new band.
Nice to see.
Yeah, we hopefully, we play a lot of shows and hopefully we get a deal, soon.
I like your confidence, mate. I like your
Yeah,
confidence.
I know. I'm trying hard. That we are the biggest unknown band in the world, so hopefully we'll change it soon.
Fantastic, mate. Thanks for joining us today. That was a fantastic introduction.
Oh, and the band called Five Finger Death Punch. I know it's a crazy name, but hey, all the good names were taken, so we went with this one.
Fantastic. So, Five Finger Death Punch release 20 years, Best of Five Finger Death Punch, Best of Volume 2 on October 24th. Like, that's a bloody mouthful, mate. Do you mind if I just call it Volume 2 from here on in?
Yeah, yeah. It is Volume 2, yes.
So you released Volume 2 on October 24th, mate. So how are you feeling about it? It's pretty close now.
Yeah, it's coming. It's kind of crazy because by doing this, like little exercise of recording these songs, we got to sort of revisit our past, because usually, we are kind of a forward-facing band. Like, what's next? Where are we going? What's the next thing we're doing? So it's not really that we're looking into rear view mirror so much, And so this was kind of crazy, looking back, like, man, 20 years, if I had to put some money on it and bet, I probably would bet against us.
You would have lost.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would have lost, right? Because not many bands make it that long. It's just what it is. It's difficult, and a lot of bands just don't make it this long. And from all bands, this was like it was a fire tornado or whatever you want for the last 20 years. So it's actually pretty amazing that we are here. We did 9 record and a bunch of hits. It's kind of crazy.
It is. And as the two in the title suggests, of course, this is a follow-up to the Best of Volume 1 that came out earlier this year. So do you consider them as companion pieces or as two separate bodies of work?
Well, it's like here's the thing, we obviously it's kind of out there. Everyone knows like why we really did it. First and foremost, our 20th anniversary was coming up, so we were gonna do something for the fans anyway. And this was the perfect lemon that was handed to us, and we made lemonade, right? The the label legally, so they didn't do anything criminal. Like they sold the masters. It happens all the time in the recording industry. There's nothing surprising, it's nothing new. Just most artists are quiet about it and they just take it. And when Taylor Swift, it happened to Taylor Swift, she decided, like, you know what, I'm just gonna re-record my whole catalog. And it worked because she has a really loyal fan base. And so that was the idea. Well, we also have a really loyal fan base, so why don't we do that? It gives us a chance to revisit those songs, and this way we can give something to the fans. So that's how this happened. As for how we picked the songs, it was fairly easy. It's been always the people's band, So we just literally looked at like, okay, it's not even about the hits. We do have 30 top 10 hits, so we could just do those 30 songs. But it was about what are the songs that it's most what are the songs that are the most important to the fans.
Yeah.
And there is data, like whatever songs they stream the most. So we just literally looked at Spotify. We looked at Apple Music and all the streaming services, and we could see that, okay, these are the 30 songs that the fans love the most. So let's do those 30. That's how simple it was.
Yeah, no. So it is very fan driven, which you guys have always been a very fan driven band. But out of the two, Volume 1 and Volume 2, which one personally do you think's got the best songs? Which one's got your favorites on it?
Well, that's kind of the question, like which kids of yours you like the most?
I know, I've got two of them, so I feel your pain.
Right. So exactly. So which one is it, Volume 1 or Volume 2?
Well,
of your kids?
They're standing behind me with a baseball bat, so I've got to say both.
All right, see what I mean? So I'm gonna say the same thing, right? It's hard to decide, It's hard to decide, but each record has amazing moments, and both record have a song that has a feature. The first one had Maria Brink, right? And that song became a #1 song, and it made a lot of sense. A lot of people don't know this, but in this moment, and Maria and Five Finger Death Punch, our history is kind of intertwined, because this is again, not many people know this, but there was a band in Los Angeles that was a local band that was fairly big locally, but never really made it. But locally, they were an LA band. And when this band fell apart, half of that band became in this moment, and the other half came to Five Finger Death Punch.
Oh, wow.
So yeah. So and then they got the record deal, I think, with Century Media. Then we got ours, and we sort of grew in the same time. They were heavier, so they kind of went into that direction. We had radio songs, so the band obviously blew up. But you know, we toured together. We took them out on the road many times. So this is and she already been featured in a song before. Also, we have the same producer, and also they record in Las Vegas. So we have a lot of these common elements, that made all the sense in the world. Like, oh, it has to be Maria. It's a recap over the last 20 years, so should be Maria. And on volume 2, it is Baby Metal, Sue from Baby Metal singing or not, which is amazing. First and foremost, imagine right now that song is already in top 10 in America. So that's like, imagine a song on mainstream rock radio in America that half of the song is in Japanese. I don't think that ever happened in history.
It shouldn't happen, but it does. It's great that it does.
But yeah, so you know what I mean. Like, so it's kind of like I think we broke the the tradition with that. It became a #1 song on I think the Japanese iTunes and whatnot, and it is already in the top 10 in America. And even though they are a metal band and we are kind of a hard rock metal band, some of the fan base overlap, but we have very different fans.
Yeah,
and it's amazing to see that we got such an influx of baby metal fans coming in. I see the comments, half of them in Japanese, right? but we got a lot of people coming because they never heard of Five Finger Death Punch. That's why I say that we got the biggest unknown band, right? And the same way, our fans are not necessarily familiar with baby metal. So now they're like, oh, what is this band? Let me check it out. So, right? In a way, it worked out for both bands. And the song, from that perspective, the song finally is complete in some way, at least for me. When Ivan writes the lyrics, he doesn't, if you ask him, and it happens many times, when you run into him and ask him what he wrote any songs about, he's not going to tell you.
No.
That's his thing. He's not going to tell you, because this is what, and you know what? I agree with this. He goes, listen, I wrote the lyrics. If I tell you what this lyrics is about, then I petrified it. I sort of solidified it, what it means.
Yeah.
Because I'm the singer, right? So he's like, everybody who listens to your music will hear it the way they needed to hear it. You understand it the way you needed to understand it. This is why songs are personal to everyone who listens to them, right? Because you can interpret what it means in many ways, and you always hear what you need to hear at the time. And he's like, I would rob the fans from this, this feeling of, this is my song, this speaks to me. Right. If So when he came in with this song, the lyrics, when we wrote the music part, I already had this idea, like, this is like an epic, battle soundtrack, And then he came back, he felt the same. So he wrote the lyrics about the end, it's never over till it's over. Let the arrows fly. You can take it metaphorically or literally as well, right? So I saw this epic battle, like, especially being a martial artist, I just, and I'm really, I'm a judo guy. I'm really into Japanese culture and the Bushido, the way of the samurai. So I saw that in my head. So when it came to like, who we're going to do the feature with, I'm like, yes, this has to be in Japanese, man, So that's kind of how it came together.
Makes perfect sense. Perfect sense. Volume 2 also features live versions of Watch It Away, Wrong Side of Heaven, and Jekyll and Hyde. I think it's a great idea for you to put the live tracks on the best of albums as well, because a big part of your history is live. Like, you're a dynamic live band. So to be able to put that, mix it in with your fan favorites, it's a bloody good idea. It's giving people an overall taste of the band.
You know what? And here's the thing. The reason we did that exactly like this, we were talking to a lot of people, like you just said it, right? I had this conversation many times with fans, with media. Everybody's like, man, you guys are a live band. You gotta have a live record. And it's interesting because I'm not a fan of live recordings, because I always view it, I'm just not. Because I always viewed it, when you go to the studio, you work on the songs, every crack of the guitar, every little noise, everything matters, right? So you're putting together your art meticulously, every single thing in there. So it's kind of like, in the kitchen, you're cooking a little bit of this, a little bit of that, right? I like that process. And that's what I love about, treating music, how you put this together. Now, once that is done, that's when you take it and perform it live, And once it's live, it's first and foremost, you're performing the song. Second, it's like there's an energy exchange between the fans and the band. Like this is why live shows never going to go away. There's nothing you can compare to that. That crowd and everybody's feeling the same thing in the same time. That belongs to a live show. And I always thought like, well, live recordings, even the best ones, can give you a picture, but can't really bring that, what I mean? That energy is not going to be there or somewhat, but we are a good live band. I mean, I think that's why the band blew up, because even the haters and naysayers, the bigger you get, the more of those you got. Fine, we don't give a shit, but we converted a lot of those. People come to the shows, people come to festivals, and then, well, I have to suffer to this 5-finger whatever thing, and then they see us live and they're like, holy shit, because we are a live band.
Yeah.
And so even though you can't really capture that, but all the fans, everybody's like, man, you guys gotta put some of those. And so that's kind of how it happened.
Yeah.
And here's why it's easy for us. So we do a thing called virtual sound check, which means every single show is recorded. And the very next day, when we roll into the new arena, stadium, wherever we play, right? Every one of those spaces have different acoustics, right?
Yep.
So what happens, our crew recorded the show the previous day. So exactly how we sound like. And then they're going to push it through the speakers, as loud as it goes, in this new place, whatever venue this is, right?
Clever.
And see what I mean? Because they recorded the instrument directly. Yeah. So now the sound engineers and everyone can hear, and the monitor engineers can hear it, how it sounds in this new venue. So that's how we sound check. That's how we sound so good.
That's brilliant.
Because we literally, this is what we do. So because of that, we have all these live recordings, because every show is recorded.
Yeah, right.
So it was actually easy for us, like, okay, well, grab some of those and put it on the record. We have it.
That's fantastic.
That's the trick.
Right. And you also chose to re-record the songs on the albums, not just remix them or remaster them. Like, it created a lot of extra work for you guys as a band. So what was the thought process behind doing it? Like, I'm sure people would have accepted just being remastered, but you've gone that step above and re-recorded them all. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, so there are two things. Like, as I said, it's fairly common in the recording industry where the record label sells the masters of bands and whatnot, and it's a thing that happens. Nothing criminal about it. It's just not cool, but but it happens. And so for us, we were like, okay, well, that's your move on the chessboard. So now this is our move. So we're gonna just re-record the whole catalog. And we can give something to the fans for the 20th anniversary, and we got to revisit these songs. Some of them changed a little bit live, some lyrics changed, so we got to re-record it today. Another thing is when you put a compilation together of 15 songs per record, right? Every one of those songs, right, came from a different record. And every record sounds a little bit different. See what I mean?
Yep.
Now, imagine that you took all these songs and recorded with the same sound. So it sounds like one record versus, taking it from different places.
Yeah, makes sense. And then, like you say, bro, like some of the songs have been changed a little bit here and there, but those changes, like, did you rehearse those changes and plan it before you went in the studio, or a lot of them sort of jammed out in the studio?
So no, I mean, we just did it how we would do it live. Because here's the thing. When you write the song, you're cooking, what you put in the song, every little thing. When you re-record something, you're performing. We already wrote the songs, and some of them we play live 1,000 times, right? So it's a different energy. You're not going into the studio with, okay, like we have to, build something. We go to the studio with, well, we play these songs. We live with these songs for some of them with 15, 20 years, right? So you're performing them, and that has a different energy. In fact, I would say this. If I'm listening to the recordings of these two greatest hits, it it isn't live, but it has a little bit of a rawer live feeling than the previous studio records because we performed these. See what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
it wasn't, because as I said, we lived with these songs for so long and some of them we play. And so it was more of a performance, and that gave a little bit of a live feel to them. So it's a little bit feels different.
yeah. I've got to say too, bro, like, I really love the version of Blue on Black it's on volume two. Like about the 3 minute mark, you guys bring in this massive breakdown that shouldn't be there, but it just elevates the song in a whole different direction, bro. Like I didn't think anyone could make that song better, but you guys have done it. So well done.
Right. And look, it's like we very proud of that, the one that we did the first time too, because this was, again, it was all performance. When the first time we did it, Kenny Wayne Shepherd, who wrote the song, heard it, and he was like, "Hey, I want to be part of it." So I was, imagine that scenario. So Kenny Wayne Shepherd wanted to play and sing on the song that we were covering, but it's his song.
Wow.
It's great. Yeah. So he was on the song. So out of sudden is, it's not just a cover, it's not collaboration. Then Brantley Gilbert, who's a huge country artist in America, was singing some of the verses, and then Brian May from Queen was in the studio, and he's like, "Oh my God, I want to be on this. It sounds great." And so he plays one of the guitar solos.
Wow.
So that was a crazy moment in history. So the guy who wrote the song, and it's kind of like,
I got goosebumps.
It was we gave him a number one. I mean, like that song went number one on the radio. So that's, so that's pretty cool.
Fantastic. We're going to have to wind this up, Ray, but I'll just leave this last question. Like 20 years is a significant milestone in the music industry, like you said before, but as the band, have you sat down and planned any further into the future, or are you just going to ride the wave and take things as they come?
Well, we're always looking at the future, like what we're doing next. Like right now, we are talking about a world tour. So 20th anniversary world tour, probably 26, 27, which means a world tour. Like, so we try to do it all, the whole, usually, we haven't been in Australia for a long time. So haven't been in Japan for a long time. So we want to do a world tour, a proper world tour. And we just, it's like, look, that's how we got this far. It's just one foot after the other, you know what I mean? And we just kept marching. And so we're going to keep doing the same.
Fantastic, Zoltan. Well, it's been a pleasure speaking with you, mate. You're a breath of fresh air this time of morning, I've got to say. So best of luck. Volume 2 is out October 24th. And congratulations on 20 years, guys. I've been with you guys from the start. And long live Five Finger Death Punch, bro.
All right. Thank you, brother.